tengok.
Jaga. Tengok dah. Cak tengok. Cak tengok.
Biasa kau hajar.
Biasa kau hajar. Habis kalau dia ajak kanak? Kalau dia ajak kanak?
Boleh.
Dia nak buat ni. Sajak pula.
Aku dah pelajak. Jom, lagi. Nengira je.
Dia nak tengok cara cik joget dia.
Dia nak tengok cara joget. Ini orang nak panggil. Ini orang nak panggil joget. Cuma gesek. Dia Alia, tahu. Orang malah. Orang sayang, gesek. Kita tahu lagi dah. Aku tak tahu. Nyanyi. Dek Pau je. Kuat. Dek Pau di bulan Pau. Kelor-kelor juga. Kelor-kelor. Pau tidak tenggelam lagi. Makanan. Betul ya. Jauh tuan akang. Jaki jauh, adik pun jauh. Alah sayang, jauh tidak lagi lah, tergulang lagi. Ya Allah, macam mana lah aku ni?
Betul-betul. Entak dia sikit suara itu. Alah. Ketat-ketat kalau sikit.
Nanti dah orang. Sampai.
Sampai ba? Sampai ba dekat situ. Masa kau nak, kau tengok. Kau tak pandang.
Everyone startles, some of us very readily and very strongly. This is Cik Rahma Kamis. This is Cik Maimun Hussein. In Malaysia, persons who startle readily and strongly, like Cik Rahma and Cik Mun, are called Latahs. Latah is also the name of the behavior complex built around hyperstartling. The woman facing us is Hajah Misabani. She's a Latah. She's 70 years old. Her Latah began when she was 62.
Speak. How long have you been like this? A long time. 8 years now. It began when my mother died. I was very sad. I was sitting quietly like this, thinking my mother is gone. Someone came from behind. He grabbed me and said, "What's up?" I was startled. My body trembled like this. My mind went blank. When my body stopped trembling, he teased me again. I picked up a stick and hit him. I couldn't think. What could I know? Later, wherever I went, people liked to watch me. They thought I was pretending. They poked me over and over until I became ill.
The man in the suit is Pawang Luman, an indigenous healer. His wife, Cik Layut Ali, is a Latah.
Mula-mula dia terbayang.
At first one is merely startled.
Nampak ikan
One sees a
hidupan,
centipede
hantar nampak
or a
ular
snake
besar, hantar dia satu orang
or coconut leaf falls and one is startled.
Jadi orang macam itu nampak.
Then someone sees that happen.
Habis besok dia nampak.
Later when he sees me again,
sama saya,
perhaps he will poke me in the ribs. After a while something can happen.
Itulah macam orang tak ada latah. Dia
Take an
susah
ordinary
cocok
person like
macam
Betsy
ni.
here.
Jadi mem pun
If
terperanjat.
she's startled,
Jadi itu
Semangat dia tu dah tu terbang lah.
Bila,
whenever you see her,
macam tuan
you
nampak
poke her
mem,
in the ribs.
cocok. Bila tuan nampak mem cocok. Lama-lama itu dia punya akal pun macam satu.
After a while she'll get very flustered.
Dia cakap apa-apa
She'll
pun
say
dia
whatever comes out.
Dia kata,
If you tell her to dance, she'll dance.
bila mem
If you poke her in the ribs whenever you see her,
dia ikut juga.
she will do this too. That's what it's like.
This is Sidang Hussein Dalip. He's the village headman.
Tapi kalau orang cocok Dato' Sidang,
If someone poked you in the ribs every day, would you become a latah or not?
Kalau cocok sama-sama
If it were done face to face like this, I think not.
Tapi kalau di belakang,
But if it were done from behind and over, I think I would become a latah too.
tapi kalau saya
But not if I caught sight of the person doing it. But if a person is latah, one can put her into a latah state even from the front. Because they are so easily startled? Yes. If we don't poke them in the ribs, they don't become latah. If we keep poking a normal person like that, he will become a latah. It doesn't take long. 5 days poking over and over, little by little by little, a person gets quite flustered. Not everyone is a latah, right? Only certain ones.
Macam
Like
saya
me,
kan, ini
I'm a
macam
latah.
ayat latah. Itu macam Cik Mah.
Like Cik Ma, she's a latah.
Itu macam Padang.
In the
apa
village
semua.
here, only
Satu
certain
orang.
ones. Not everyone. No.
Kalau semua-semua itu macam
If
orang,
everyone
macam
were like that, it would be like the whole world was crazy.
As Che Layut points out, not everyone becomes a latah. Many of the villagers think that a tendency to latah runs in families. Nenek Kamsiat Na thinks so, but she's not quite sure.
Once it starts, it becomes hereditary. If a mother is latah, her children will be too. Still, my mother was latah and I and my children aren't. Sometimes a mother is latah and her children are too. Grandmother is latah. My mother was latah, but I'm not. My brothers and sisters aren't either.
The role of heredity in latah, if any, is uncertain. One thing that is certain is that the overwhelming majority of latahs are women. Villagers say this is because women have less samangat, or soul substance, than men. They also point out that it's safer to startle women.
Many more women than men are latah. There aren't many men.
jadi orang perempuan dia punya semangat atau dia
Women's
berfikiran,
semangat is a
dia
bit
lemah
weaker than men's.
daripada orang laki-laki. Jadi orang laki-laki
Men
dia
have
punya
rather
semangat
stronger
kuat.
semangat.
Sangat orang semangat orang laki-laki.
Men's semangat
Dia
is a bit
kuat
stronger
sedikit. Sebab dia punya
because even their
tenaga
physical
pun
strength
lebih baik dia
is greater
daripada
than
orang
women's.
Sebab orang laki-laki kalau dia menjadi
Because if a man becomes latah,
dia bila orang
when people
cocok,
poke him
dia
suddenly in the
boleh
ribs,
jadi
he might
kuat
become strong.
sikit. Nanti takut dia orang pukul.
So people
Tapi
fear
kalau
he's
orang
striking
perempuan,
back.
Dia orang
But people don't fear
tidak
women
berapa
much
takut. Sebab dia
because
perempuan,
they're
dia
weaker.
lemah sikit.
orang takut cucuk. Orang
People
cucuk.
are afraid to poke and
Orang
startle
jantan
men.
pun tak ada berapa suka.
Even other men don't like to do it to
Sama
each
juga
other.
tak ada suka. Yang kuat
It's
dia
women who
orang
like to poke
perempuan.
each other. When they're sitting around, someone pokes someone, someone else pokes someone else. Women are shy about poking men.
Shy or afraid?
Shy? Well, shy and afraid too.
Tok Muhammad Hassan Rahmat is the only man in the village who admits to being Latah, though the villagers told us of 2 others. Ever since he was young, Tok Muhammad Hassan has been teaching bersilat, the Malay art of self-defense. When he's startled, he assumes bersilat poses. When startled, both ordinary persons and Latahs sometimes hit out. In this case, the woman hitting out is a Latah, or a layman. When startled, both ordinary persons and Latahs often blurt out something that they normally wouldn't say, usually something silly, or holy, or obscene. Is it always that much it can be startled so easily?
Oh, black and blue prick.
What just happened?
Apa yang berlaku tadi, Makcik?
A boy poked me.
What was it that Machi said after that?
Apakah Makcik cakap tadi itu?
What did I say?
Ada orang cucuk tadi. Apa yang Makcik kata tadi itu?
I said black and blue prick.
What Cik Rahma said is indecent by Malay standards, and she'd never say it in ordinary speech. However, she's been startled, so it's excused. It's just considered part of Latah and funny. Sometimes, when a Latah is poked over and over, she becomes so flustered that her speech gets very scrambled.
Paint, make small flowers. Growing, make small flowers like the food cover. Take it near the kitchen. Below. Go and take it. Go and take the food cover. Like this, then paint it. Go and take it near the rice. Kitchen door. There isn't any.
After being startled, Latah's become highly aroused. Though her friends try to quiet her, it's hard for Cik Mah to settle down.
Bangun.
Quiet, it's finished.
Notice how intently Cik Ahra watches me. When someone is startled and highly aroused, his or her attention is focused narrowly. Can you ask her for me? Was she really startled when Cik Asma hit the ground? Was she really startled or not? This narrowed attention tends to be caught by prominent or unusual objects, like our shotgun microphone and our camera.
Takut.
Tak sana.
Yeah.
Aku dah berdebuk lah. Tembak.
Ini apa buahan?
Tembak. Tembak. Udah. Kau terlalu ya.
After a Latah is startled, movements may also capture her attention, and often she will match them.
Bawa bekal tadi tak makan.
You can make her dance.
Aroused and with attention narrowed and fixed, some Latahs not only match movements, but also do what others order them to do, if they're flustered enough and if they're commanded forcefully enough.
Dia tengah duduk.
When she's sitting quietly, we can take a piece of wood and bang it. Or we can poke her in the ribs over and over and she'll become Latah. She gets startled. Then if we order her to hit or dance, she'll hit or dance. And she'll do whatever we tell her to do with what she's holding. Whoever is in front of her will be hit. That's what a Latah does. If someone pokes and startles me and orders me to do something, I won't know what I'm doing. I might even take off my clothes. She only gets flustered if she's poked and startled. If we were just to tell her normally to take off her clothes, she wouldn't do it. But if she were poked and startled first, she might.
Spouses and other family members can't do much to protect Latahs. Latahs are considered fair game.
I don't believe there is anything we can do. We can't scold much because this kind of teasing is considered acceptable. But if it's too extreme, we can scold a little. It happened to my sister at a wedding. People kept startling her with pokes in the ribs over and over. After she became Latah, they ordered her to do all sorts of things, and she did whatever they ordered. Finally, someone ordered her to take her clothes off, and she did that too. She didn't know what was happening, so she just stripped off. When she took her clothes off, the people around her were embarrassed, and her children were embarrassed too. One of her children got very angry. He gave her a stick and told her to hit the person teasing her. But instead of hitting him, she smashed all the dishes and plates. Her children were furious and they took her home. When she came to her senses, she was ashamed. It wasn't right or fair to do what they did to her, ordering her to strip. Startling her should have been enough. When she's that flustered, she doesn't know what she's doing. Whatever they ordered, she did, like a person without shame.
Although they may be embarrassed, Latahs are not considered responsible either morally or legally for what they do after being startled.
A long time ago, I heard a story. It happened when the British governed here. When the British were here, there was a court in Pengkalan Balak. Major Bawal was the judge. He was responsible for sentencing. One time, a Latah was holding a knife when someone came up from behind, startled her with a poke and ordered, "Stab!" Right away she stabbed, and she stabbed a man to death. When the victim died, she was arrested by the police. A while later, when the time for the trial came, she was taken to court. During the hearing, the judge asked, "Why did you kill that man?" She said, "I didn't know what I was doing. When I killed him, I didn't know anything. I'm a Latah, and someone poked me and startled me. I didn't intend to kill anybody. I lost my reason because I was startled by a poke in the ribs. And when I was ordered to stab, right away I stabbed. Because of that, I plead not guilty. About a week later came the trial. To prepare for it, the judge ordered a plank to be studded with nails. About 10 nails. Then the plank was positioned with the points of the nails facing up. A policeman came up behind the Latah and poked her in the ribs, and he shouted, "Slap those nails." Right away the old lady slapped down on those nails. When she slapped down on the nails, blood began to gush from her hand. The judge had to agree. Truly, this woman is a real Latah. This old woman is not guilty. The guilty one is the person who poked her. So the woman who poked the Latah was the one who was sentenced to be hanged.
Terima kasih, Pak Cik.
Sometimes Latahs are teased for a very long time, even if they're obviously exhausted. Watch how Cik Ara is not permitted to escape, and notice how tired she appears.
Dek Pau ya kuat. Dek Pau ada 5 batu. Kuat. Anak 9 bertapak tangan. Lagi jauh berbatu-batu makanan sayang. Makanan sayang. Ayolah. Lagi ke mata jangan, di hati pun jangan.
Latahs are startled and teased like this over and over and over again. One way to cope is to accept the role of a Latah and play it for all it's worth. After all, a Latah is not considered responsible for anything she does after being startled. It's clear that Cik Mun enjoys the clowning that the Latah role permits. Notice the eh sound Cik Mun repeatedly makes. It functions as a kind of self-startle, and by signifying that she's been startled, it justifies what she does. Latahs say eh only when performing, and then only when others aren't startling them enough.
Aku dah tak nampak dah apa berjalan punya buka. Tak nampak mungkin dah.
Heterosexual men who are Latah strongly resist entering the Latah state. They don't voluntarily clown or perform. In contrast, homosexual male transvestites who are frequently Latahs usually accept the Latah role.
Egi, come, Egi. Come. Come, take photo, Egi. Take photo. Call Egi, take photo. Come.
This young man is not from our village, but rather from a nearby city.
Come. Egi. Pulang boleh putih butuh keling enono kuat enono kuat putih kuat butuh keling butuh keling nono putih besar aku tilu besar nono kuat besar nono kuat ibu butuh keling besar nono ai mai sudah lu sama butuh oh my ai mai satu mai satu you satu lagi butuh lu kali lu main kuat ai sudah lah oh my god muat itu ai
Haja Misa, who earlier described how her Latah began, is a dignified woman, so at first becoming fair game for startled teasing wasn't easy for her. But she's learned to cope and even to use the role of being a Latah for some teasing of her own. After being interviewed, she offered to let us film a Latah performance. The couple you'll see playing with her are her neighbors. Notice how they shape and modulate what she does.
Pasal apa? Orang perempuan
dia
dia fikiran dia banyak, dia susah hati, semua macam itu. Orang
macam itu.
lelaki
Macam mana dia buat?
Kali buat macam ni, jaga kau.
Jaga. Tunggu dah. Siap tunggu.
Biasa kau hajar. Biasa kau hajar.
Habis kalau dia ajak tak nak? Kalau dia ajak tak nak?
Boleh.
Dia ni buat ni. Sajak pula.
Aku dah peranjat.
Ya punya.
Orang marah aku.
Macam mana?
Dia marah. Tuan kata sudah, diam. Dia kata.
Diam kata dia.
Diam.
Macam mana dia kata diam?
Dia kata diam.
Oh, diam kata dia.
Diam. Sudah. Cukup.
Cukup.
Cukup nak lagi. Sudah. Cukup tu. Cukup.
Habis kalau kata dia kan?
Kata aku sepak kalau dia.
Oh, sepak dia. Habis pengebang dia dah.
Habislah dia aku buang kan.
Emon dah.
Memang mampus kau. Memang mampus kau.
Boleh gini apa tu?
Mampus lah aku dah.
Orang boleh semua.
Kau yang datang bawa kemari.
Habis?
Kau kena.
Mampus. Emon lah.
Dia ni mesti aku tadi rupanya. Dia ni mesti aku tadi rupanya. Aku dah. Dah aku nak duduk aja. Kau jahat rupanya ya. Kau suruh berjoget lah, kau suruh duduk, menyanyi lah, bertandak lah. Ada kata? Tak ada. Oh, kata rupa lagi.
Duduk.
Ada kata tak? Ada kata tidak. Pantas nak dah aku duduk je dah.
Sila.
Sila aku penat dah.
Buka cerita.
Aku penat. Orang nak bekerja je tu gayanya.
Kerja tadi. Dah lah ambil untuk makan tadi.
Jadilah sikit je.
Dah lah.
Ini makan siri ni no good lah ni.
Mana boleh no good. Makan siri ni good.
Oh, balik good.
Saya makan siri lagi good kan.
Good, balik good.
Salah go kata mak.
Kuat lah sini good.
Ui,
Kuat lah cucu kawan. Kuat lah kau aku sini. Sini duduk dalam tanah. Sebenam. Kat sini kuat kata kayu. Tolong kau mana.
Logat betul.
Logat betul. Mampus lah kau. Oh, sorry. Ni good kan?
Aku kena orang sanggut.
Ini good kan? Lagi kan? Ini banyak bagus tuan. Asli aku mati. Hey,
Tumpahlah siri tu kan.
Habis siri aku dah ke laut. Lagi satu kali. Nak tidak ni. Mampus lah kau dah. Ha. Lokok lah kau dah.
Hello, Mak.
Apa ni? Ilah macam-macam kerja ni dibawa kan aku katak le penggali le nah apanya. Macam-macam. Aku dah sudah apa?
Boleh.
Gantu. Sikit aja ha. Sikit kecil. Dah, pasal aku lagi dah. Aku pun dah nak ke laut dah.
Bam. Bam.
Dah, dah lokok dah. Penat aku dah. Puasa aku lagi dah. Dah lah.
Apa?
Kau dah sudah?
Gini dia tu.
Bang. Oh, jadi kan kau diam je kenapa?
Yalah.
Aku nak tidur dah.
Tidur sini tidur nak jalan.
Tidur. Tidur pula kau.
Ini nak tidur.
Ada yang terlelap ni kan? Terlelap. Bukan.
Sini. Dan diam.
Aku tidur pula.
Rehat sikit.
Orang rehat duduk atas kursi meja. Ini semua tidur, semua duduk.
Apa tak salah? Yang pula saya selalu tidur itu.
Tidur sama duduk, mahu tak itu? Jahanam kawan. Oh, pula mat kau.
Everyone startles, and everywhere, some people startle more readily and more strongly than others. In this composite film of a laboratory experiment, the two guns behind the women will fire simultaneously. Try to watch both women. The woman on the left is teased by her family and friends. Sometimes they startle her intentionally too, just to see what she'll do. But she's not intentionally startled often, or in public, or by casual acquaintances. I believe that if she were a Malay villager, she would be made into a Latah. However, Malaysia is not the only place where startling readily and strongly has been elaborated in a culture-specific way. The island of Hokkaido in northern Japan, where the Ainu people live, is another. Here are excerpts from a film collected there in 1936. The Ainu people shown are not related either ethnically or culturally to the Malays. You'll see hyper-startling, flustered behavior, hitting, matching, dancing on command, and sexually explicit gestures in this culture-specific elaboration too. Behavior complexes much like Latah have been reported from many parts of the world. Wherever hyper-startling persons are startled often and teased, the same behaviors are seen: hitting, matching, obedience, and saying vulgar words. However, the details of what happens, who may startle whom, how the audience modulates what happens and how it is all understood, these are always shaped by a particular cultural setting. Latah, as we've been seeing it in this film, is specific to Malay culture. It's a Malay way of dealing with hyper-startling persons. At weddings and at dances, in this case, at our research project's farewell dance, Malay villagers play with their Latah neighbors. Hyper-startling is a physiological state, but Latah is an interactive process. It's a culture-specific elaboration of the startle reflex.